Yeah. Going live. Waiting for the live stream. What is up, everybody? What is up? Welcome to Depression Talks, the manual community. We openly talk about depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. So hit that subscribe button because I promise you, you are not alone. Now let's just jump straight into it. In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of being single and the pros and cons of being in a relationship. Now, in society in general, there's this thought that if you're in a relationship, you're automatically happier than being single. And if you're single, you're just alone and nobody likes you and what's wrong with you? That is so not true. Welcome to the live stream, Justin. Welcome to the live stream, bro. And I want to emphasize, especially when it comes to depression, if you're dealing with depression or sadness in general, even if you don't, when you are single, you wonder why nobody likes you. Maybe your friends are in a relationship and you're not. You're seeing everybody getting married, you're not married, etc. But then sometimes when people are in relationships, especially toxic relationships, they wish they were single. So how come there's such a skewed view upon being single and being in a relationship? Now, when you are single, here are some of the cons. The cons are, if you do this, if you have the wrong mindset, the cons are, okay, how come I'm not in a relationship right now? How come, I am lonely? Am I ugly? Like your self-esteem might be low because you see your friends are in relationships and you're not. Or how come I'm this age, no matter what age it is? Some people want to be married when they're 22. Some people want to be married when they're 28 in their 30s. But how come I'm not married, right? How come I'm not and everybody else around me is? You scroll through Facebook, social media, and you compare yourself with other people's lives. Those are the cons. Now, the pros of being single, some things I want to make sure you focus on when you are single, is you are able to focus on yourself, your goals and ambitions. That's the first tip. You have so much time now to focus on yourself. When you're in a relationship, you're constantly focusing on your partner if you're not doing it correctly, by the way, which I'll go into the tips for being in a relationship, but you're constantly focusing on your partner usually. And you don't realize how much time you are potentially losing not focusing on yourself, your goals, your ambitions, your passions, what you want to do with your life. When I'm single, I focus so much time is being devoted to my goals and I'm happy about it. It makes me happy. The second one is working on building your self-esteem. That's right. You have to be happy about how you look. You can't expect it to come from someone else, like compliments to come from someone else. You have to look in that mirror and be happy about what you see. And if you're not happy about what you see, begin to work on it. Begin to work on it. Justin says there's a lot of pro and cons to both. Exactly. Science Tuna says a relationship should be there to enhance your life, not because you feel incomplete when single. Exactly. It should be enhancing your life. Okay. The next tip, build your inner happiness. If you're like me, I hated hearing this. Like, you're supposed to be fully happy by yourself. How is that even possible? Well, personally, I'm still working on that. Trying to be happy by myself, whether I'm single or in a relationship, just being happy, right? But if you feel like you have to have someone else in order to be happy, you are not ready for a relationship, in my opinion. You are not ready for a relationship. I have to be with someone else in order to be happy. Get that out of here, man. You should not be dependent on someone else. It should come from within. Find out what makes you happy. Find out what you're passionate about. And I just did a video 2 days ago called Stop Wasting Time, Not Knowing What to Do. And in this video, I pretty much talked about, overall, like if you're feeling lazy and unmotivated, then at least start and try. Definitely go to that link. I'm going to link up to the video soon after the playback, but definitely go to that video. If you're feeling unmotivated and you don't know what you want to do with your life, start and try. But overall, being single is not a negative thing. I know when you're depressed or alone and you feel like maybe you don't have a lot of friends and you feel like everybody else is in a relationship, but I'm not. That does not mean you're not winning or losing. That does not mean you should be happy or sad. Your relationship status is not a direct correlation to your happiness. All right, now being in a relationship, there are tons of pros and there are tons of cons, just like when you're single. And what people don't seem to understand is that there are toxic relationships. Maybe you've been a part of one. Have you ever been through a breakup before? Have you ever been through a relationship with someone that you feel like you don't bring happiness towards each other? You feel a sense of burden and pain and so much weight on your shoulders when you're in that relationship. Now, you're not going to sit there and say, well, being single, that's clearly worse than being in a relationship in society. Like, no, man, no. So here are some tips for when you're single. Still focus on yourself. That does not stop just because you are in a relationship. I did that in my past relationships. Dealing with depression, I relied so much on my partner and focused so much on my partner that I stopped focusing on myself. And I made a whole entire video about it. I literally said the do's and don'ts of being in a relationship. And I made that video because I clearly did a lot of wrongs and I didn't do a lot of rights. And I'm learning from my past and I'm learning from my past mistakes. But don't stop focusing on yourself just because you're in a relationship. Oh man, I wish I knew that then. And maybe hopefully if you're currently in a relationship, you can start focusing more on yourself. The second one is make sure happiness comes from within. Make sure happiness comes from within. A person should add to your happiness, not be your happiness. A person should add to your happiness, not be your happiness. If you feel like you're not going to be happy without that other person, that is a toxic relationship. You're putting all your happiness into the hands of somebody else. Bump that. Like, I've done that before and I'm never doing that again. If I date someone or if I'm in a relationship or when I'm single, either way, no one is going to be a direct correlation to my happiness. They're just going to add to the cup that's already full. And I'm hoping that you do the exact same. Let's look at these comments. The Cyan Tuna says, sup friend. Justin Justin says, the Cyan Tuna says, a relationship should be there to enhance your life, not because you feel incomplete when single. Exactly. Dylan says, I personally don't mind being in or out of a relationship. Either way, for me, I get an aspect of comfort and happiness. Good, Dylan. So that's what I'm talking about. Either way, you should strive to be happy. It should still come from within ultimately. And the last tip from being in a relationship, don't stay in it if it is toxic. Oh my gosh, the scientist just apparently already knew exactly what I was going to talk about. And I don't like that because apparently scientists, you know how to read people's minds. But don't stay in a relationship if it's toxic. A lot of people stay in a relationship because they're so afraid of being alone, being single, because they see it as a negative thing, especially if you deal with depression. When you deal with depression and you're in a relationship that is toxic, what tends to happen is you start to rely so much on your partner that they become who you are. And if you become single, you think to yourself, I don't know who I am, where I'm going to go in my life, and what I want to do. That is such a toxic thing and negative thing. That's why while you're in a relationship, you should still be focusing on yourself. You should still be working on your own inner happiness and make sure that person is adding to your happiness, not being all of your happiness. And I'm stressing this so much because I did that. I dated in all my past relationships. I dated somebody and they were becoming my happiness. I focused so much on them, and I actually ended up being somewhat of a doormat because I was allowing everything to happen. Even though I wasn't really happy, I thought that they were what I needed in order to be happy. And I don't want you to do the same thing. Let's see here. Scientific says that people tend to be staying in toxic stuff because they don't want to face the discomfort of having to work on something better, look for something better. Once you get over that hump, though, exactly, life is way better. I agree with that. Ian Thomas says, love the vids, man. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. Ian Thomas says, what type of job do you have now? I'm a full-time graphic designer, but I hope to become a full-time YouTube creator and motivational speaker. So I have my first speaking gig, I believe, in a week, and August is going to be even bigger speaking event if I get that. Let's see here. Everything Star Wars says, by toxic, you mean, so everything Star Wars. When I say toxic, I say that, one, there might be anything verbal abuse, physical abuse, anything of that sort is toxic right off the bat. Toxic is also when the balance of help and energy and honestly, the working to be in a relationship with someone, if that's unbalanced, that's not okay. It needs to be 100, 100. Not 50-50, 100-100. When I dated somebody, I noticed that I was giving so much, giving, without wanting to like get back. Like I wasn't trying to be selfish. But then I noticed that that person wasn't even wanting or willing to give back the same way I was giving. But because they were my happiness and I put so much time into them, that was toxic. And then all of a sudden I put so much pressure on that person to make me happy, and that made it even worse. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to a toxic relationship. When the balance is so uneven and you still think that it's healthy. So far from the truth, so far. Justin says, reading minds like that science. Yeah. Jackson Kareen says, friendships are also relationships, guys. So the tips also apply to your friends. Jackson, thank you for saying that. I want to really focus on being single and being in a relationship, but friendships definitely go in that category as well. I've been in toxic friendships. I've had friendships where I thought that I was giving the right amount and I wasn't, or I thought that, they were giving or were rooting for me, but they weren't. So it definitely applies to friendships as well. Ian Thomas says, yeah, the Sign Tuna says belittling can be toxic. I agree. The Sign Tuna says, Ian says, I found your channel when I was feeling extremely empty and sad. You really helped, man. I'm going to try to actually open up to my therapist for the first time. I hate feeling dead inside. Yo, Ian, thank you so much for saying that, by the way. Like I said, this is a community where we openly talk about things without any sense of judgment because we all are going through this thing called life. So I really thank you for saying that. And also, yo, we have low moments. I'm not you. I'm not sure what you're going through. But open up as much as you can to your therapist. My last therapy session was last week. And by me opening up, I've noticed a lot of things I can work on. The more you open up, the more you can work on yourself. So thank you, Ian, for saying that. So let's see here. Yeah. So overall, just a really quick recap. When you're single, okay, when you're single and you're not having anyone, focus on yourself, your goals, and ambitions, okay? If you don't know what that is, then please watch this video to help get motivated, get started, try and start. The second one was work on building your self-esteem. Your self-esteem cannot come from one other person, two other people. Yes, it feels good to get a compliment. I know it feels good to get a compliment. I forgot. I need to link up to a video talking about if you don't love yourself, watch this video. If you don't love yourself, watch this video. That's what the video is called. But your self-esteem has to come from within. If you don't like the way you look, change it. I didn't like the way after me and my ex broke up in the past, I looked in the mirror, I did not like what I saw. So I started working out. I started, eating healthier. I started, just trying my best to look in the mirror and say I am an attractive person. And it took me a long time, but now I'm here. Like, I noticed that I can't keep on thinking that it has to come from other people. They have to give me a compliment. No, it comes from me. And the last one is build your inner happiness. Build your inner happiness. Your happiness cannot come from another person. Your happiness cannot come from another person. It just can't. Why? The biggest reason why is because we're all human. We all make mistakes. Whether you're single and you have a friend that isn't there for you that one time you needed them to be, or the family that's not there, or you're in a relationship and they have a stressful day, but you need the support to be happy and they can't provide it that day for some reason. That's why it has to always come from within. Always. All right, being in a relationship now. Still focus on yourself. It does not stop just because you're in a relationship. It does not stop. You have to continue to focus on yourself. I cannot emphasize that enough. Make sure your happiness comes from within. That's still similar to when you're single. And don't stay in it if it's toxic. Do not stay in your relationship if it's toxic. Please. Some people were afraid, and maybe I was too. You're so afraid of being single. You don't want to go into struggle. What if I never find that person again? Even though they're toxic for you. But what if I never find that person again? What if nobody else likes me? The dating world is cruel and it's tough. That probably means you need to be single. Because you're just simply staying with somebody just because you're afraid of the unknown. I'm not sure if that's healthy. And if you're single right now and you're like, I need so much to be in a relationship, I wish someone would love me. That means you need to be single even longer, because you're not ready to be in a relationship, because you'll be so dependent on that other person to bring you your happiness. The balance in that relationship is going to be so unhealthy. So unhealthy. So I really hope that this video sheds some light. Again, by the way, this is a part of the video where we do a Q&A. So if you have any questions when it comes to relationships, maybe friendships, or when it comes to your boyfriend, girlfriend, somebody that you're dating, even your personal life, like Ian shared a story, Ian shared his personal life with us. If you have any questions at all, this is when I open it up to you to kind of answer anything and everything. But quick opener here. I've noticed when I'm single, it is the best time of my life. The best time. The best. Because I have so much time to focus on myself and focus on what I'm passionate about. I have no distractions. I have nobody that I had to be dependent on, that I had to worry about checking into and spending money on and things like that, and trying to show love to, because I can really focus on building myself. Now, I'm not saying it's not easy sometimes. Like when I'm single, I'm like, man, how come I'm not in a relationship, right? I go through that too. I'm not perfect. Are you kidding me? I'm not perfect at all. But I've noticed that when I'm single, it's a great time. And when I'm in a relationship, oh my gosh, I love being in a relationship, okay? I love when I'm in a relationship, because I get to give so much to this other person that potentially, hopefully, is adding to my happiness. And it's a great balance when it's healthy. It's a great balance when it's healthy, you know? And I don't know, but I will say I don't tend to, I focus on them a little bit more, and I'm like, that's time I could be devoting to myself. So I love when both things happen. I struggle when both things happen too. It's a natural thing. All right. See, Everything Star Wars says, great video. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I hope that the playback is clear. And, by the way, comment down below after this video is uploading. Comment down below improvements on the live stream that you like to have. And also, what about you? Do you enjoy being single more than being in a relationship? Why? And do you enjoy being in a relationship more than being single? Why? It's definitely a conversation that needs to happen. All right. Well, it looks like there are no questions. So this is the part I end the video. Again, hit that subscribe button to join this awesome community that openly talks about depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Oh my gosh. Crypto Nomad, you made that question come straight through. Crypto Nomad says, how do you deal with the stigma of being single? Okay, let's see here. One is realizing that I do not live by the standards of society. I don't live by the rules of society. Like, I refuse to. And when you realize that, when you finally let go of trying to live by society's rules, trust me, that helps a lot. A lot. Okay? Just because everybody else in a relationship doesn't mean you need to be. Just because everybody else is a certain age and in a relationship doesn't mean you need to be. Just because somebody else, blah, 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 blah. Stop comparing yourself to somebody else. This is your life. This is your journey. This is you. This is about you. Nobody else but you. Bump the stigma. Live your life. Whoo, that got me heated. Kel Preston, oh my gosh. Wow, Kel is in the live stream. What is up, Kel? How you doing, bro? What is up, homie? The Sign Tuna says, I have a question. How's your week been? Yo, my week's been pretty good. Honestly, I just been working on this YouTube stuff, like focusing so much on that. Work has been really busy, which is not a bad thing, but man, my 9 to 5. That's why I'm ready to get out of 9 to 5, so I'm doing everything I can. I just bought a URL. I have not built the website yet, but it's emmanueljones.com, and it's going to be awesome. I'm working so much to make this thing to a full-time career, so I'm excited about that. Ian Thomas says, I just want to say something about relationships. I've had such crappy friendships throughout my life, and I thought I needed them because everyone needs friends. Very toxic. Now I have a girlfriend who's amazing. She's so great, but the depression sucks. It's this constant mask of feeling happy, but not being able to really feel it. She helps me. I can be myself. I'm worried about college and leaving her, which makes me feel very vulnerable and lonely. Okay, first of all, when it comes to, I'm going to try to answer this as quick as possible so that way I can make sure I'm reading everybody else's comments as well. But when you're in, when it comes to toxic friends, I've learned in my life, because I've had toxic family in my life, I've actually had to cut them out. I've had toxic friends in my life, and I've had to cut them out because I know that there are people in my life, family and friends, who are sending me positive energy that are going to support me no matter what. And I'm not going to allow myself to give time to people that are negative and toxic in my life. Why would I do that? I'm wasting energy on them. I want to make sure I'm focusing so much on those positive people. So please, if you can, cut out toxic people, cut toxic people out of your life. It'll bring you more happiness. And when it comes to going to college and being in a relationship, you know I'm blunt on this channel, man. I'm very blunt. I am very blunt, okay? You ready for this? Focus on yourself, man. Focus on yourself. If the relationship works out, that's cool, man. If the relationship doesn't work out, that's cool too. Because life always goes on. Life is a journey. It has ups and downs. We don't like to accept the downs when they happen, but that's a part of life. Just like there's two parts of the same coin, heads and tails. They're still part of the same coin. So just continue to strive to be happy, open up with your therapist, and strive to be happy, okay? It comes from within. All right. Kel says, I enjoy being single right now. I'm on such an amazing journey, and I'm focused full on that. Good. Yes, Kel. Yes. Good. See, Kel is enjoying being single, and that's awesome. You should be enjoying being single. You know what I'm saying? Everything Star Wars says, if your partner yells a lot, do you think this is toxic? If your partner is yelling a lot in the sense of like negative words towards you and trying to put you down, that's definitely toxic. Like that's definitely toxic. That's toxic. I've been in arguments in relationships before, and I never yell at somebody. I might be upset, but I never call them names, belittle them, nothing. Like that's definitely a toxic relationship, in my personal opinion. That's an opinion, personal. Let's see. Scientist, sorry that comment was related to what you said earlier. There's a delay in my comments. No worries, Scientist. Everything Star says, anyone negative is not good for you, friend or partner. Friend or partner or family. Anyone that's toxic and negative in your life, that's not good. It's just not. It's just not. If you were going, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're drinking water and water's healthy for you and it's good for you, and all of a sudden there's like battery acid, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to just pour a little bit. I'm going to keep this battery acid around. Like, why would you do that? Like, why? And I made that correlation because toxic people bring you down. They bring you negative energy. They bring you stress and anger and sadness. Why keep them in your life? That makes zero sense to me. It took me a long time to realize that. Now that I have, I'm prouder and happier because of it. Let's see. Miriam says, is it possible to enjoy not having friends and doing everything alone and yet being happy? Big question. So listen. When I moved back here when I moved back to Indianapolis, Indiana, from Florida last May of last year, September last year, I went through a breakup. At that time, all my friends were living in different states. I was living by myself. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have any close friends that I hung out with. So talking about being alone and being isolated, it was the hardest thing, okay? It was hard, okay? I started drinking. I turned to hard drugs. It was terrible, man. I made a video about that. But over time, I began to understand that I have to make sure my happiness comes from within. Like, I had to still do activities like going to the movies and going to a concert and doing things on my own. I can't keep on waiting for somebody to come and save me. Save me from this pit of loneliness, please. Like, I can't do that. No. Now, I am a sociable person. I get energy when I talk to other people. So I still enjoy being around other people, okay? But the amount of happiness that I have when I'm by myself, I had to work on getting higher and higher and higher. I'm not saying I'm completely happy with just solitude and being alone. Some people are. Some people are really introverts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can work on being happier. Like, you can't always strive on being happier. That's the goal. Not being fully happy necessarily, because I think we're social creatures naturally, but work on being happier. I believe that might help. Crypto Nomad says, when do you know it's a good time to put yourself out there again? I feel like I'm making excuses to be single. Oh man, that is a hard question because everybody's different, right? Some people say that when you go through a breakup, you have to be single for 2 times as long as you're in a relationship. So if you date somebody for 3 months, you should wait 6 months. If you date somebody for a year, you should wait 2 years. Honestly, that's not true because some people get into relationships faster. Some people don't. So everybody's timing is different. I think that, at least for me, I can only speak for myself here. When I've noticed that I am content with where I am in life when I'm single, like when I feel like I'm achieving my goals and I have time, like right now, I feel like, I'm so busy. And when you feel like you're open to potentially get hurt again, I think that's when you're ready. And that might sound dark, but if you're open to potentially getting hurt, when you know that if you get hurt, you'll be fine because you're happy now from within yourself. You're okay where you are in life. You have goals you want to achieve. And that person should add to your happiness, not be your happiness, right? So when you're open to saying, okay, if this person decides to leave me, if I get hurt from this other person right now, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. I've built that strong mindset and that strong courage and determination in my own life that person is only going to add to it, not be it. I think that's when you know you're ready. Let's see here. Yes, okay, cool. Those are some cool questions, y'all. Wow. I'm happy about these questions. I love answering your questions, man. Were my answers helpful? Like, I really never know. Sometimes I say these answers and I think they're helpful, but I'm not sure. Miriam says, I'm an introvert, but I've been isolated for years now, but it's starting to suck. But I'll try to create my own happiness until I can make friends again. Yeah, like, man, years, like everybody's different. I'm not sure if you're using an app called Meetup. It's called Meetup, and it's a great way to meet people that do similar activities that you do. It's called Meetup, all together, MEETUP. I think I can type it here. Here we go. Let me type it here. Meetup. Meetup. It is a great app, okay? Download it. Find people that are interested in similar things that you're interested in, and that might be a great way for you to be friends. Now, I'm not sure if you're like nervous about meeting new people like I can be. So, again, that's something you have to work on. Anything that you feel is hard to do, that means you should work on it. Just saying. Just saying. All right, y'all. Are there any more questions at all? Any more questions before I have to head out? Because I'm never sure how much battery is left on this camera, and I'm never sure how much battery is left on my computer. I can see it right there. While you type questions, I had to always recap because sometimes people join the live stream a little bit later, and I want to make sure they understand everything that happened. When you're single, focus on yourself, your goals, and ambitions. If you don't know what that is and you're scared to start, go look at this video that I put up 2 days ago. Stop wasting time, not knowing what to do. Type that in, and you'll be able to look at it. It should definitely help you get started. Hopefully, it makes you motivated. The second one is work on building your self-esteem. Your happiness and your self-esteem has to come from within. You cannot just wait for somebody else to bring you your self-esteem. You can't expect to be like, I hate myself. I hate the way I look. I'm just going to be happy when someone else tells me. Bump that noise. Create it for yourself. And the last one was build your inner happiness. Yes, your happiness has to come from within. When it comes to being in a relationship, still focus on yourself. Never stop. Never stop focusing on yourself just because you're in a relationship. That is insane to me. I've done that in all my past relationships. So, so don't do it in the next one. All right. Make sure happiness comes from within. Okay. That's similar to when you're single. But in your relationship, it's so much easier to say, this person is my happiness. That person is my happiness. Them. When I have free time, I need to be with them. When I have nothing to do, I need to be with them. What about your goals? What about your ambitions, your dreams, what you want to be successful at? What about the way you look, how you feel about yourself? It still comes from within, man. And the last one was, there you go. The last one was, don't stay in a relationship if it's toxic. Yo, don't stay in a relationship if it's toxic. You're afraid of being single, and that's why you're staying with this person that's toxic to you. You're afraid of being back in the dating world because you're afraid that no one's going to like you and that you're never going to meet the one. You're never going to do this, but here you are staying with somebody that's negative for you. No, that's not logical. That's not logical. It's not logical, okay? Get out of that relationship. If you know it's toxic, if you have to question, like, is this a toxic relationship? Ask your friends that are supportive. Ask your family that is supportive. And then ask yourself, look in the mirror and say, what do I want in somebody? And if they don't fit that criteria, Toxic relationship. Get out. Be single. Focus on yourself. It's hard. All right. The sign 2 says listen to some epic superhero music and make yourself feel like a badass. I like that. Okay, yes. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. All right, y'all. Hit the comment section down below. I love engaging with y'all both in these live streams, but I definitely love engaging y'all in the comment section because I love when y'all give me your insights, you give me your feedback, talk to me about what's your life, how you're doing, and you also help me out with knowing that you're enjoying this content because sometimes I'm like, yo, are they enjoying it? I don't know. Yes, no, yes, no. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. All right, y'all. It is time for me to head out because I'm afraid my camera really is going to die. So I think it's time to end the video. As I always say, do you stay swagalicious and keep smiling. Peace. All right, y'all. Stay classy.